Good morning, everyone. And it would appear that Innistrad Midnight Hunt has given a bit of a boost to the Spirits deck we've got here. The Spectral Adversary. My god, the things that this card can do. Now, we knew that probably Spirits was going to get a bit of a boost because, hey, it's Innistrad. They got the ghosts, the werewolves, the vampires. You know, where there's ghosts, there's spirits. So Spectral Adversary, 1 blue, 1 generic, flash creature, of course, flying. 2/1 creature, so it doesn't look very impressive up front, but when it enters the battlefield, you can pay a blue and 1 generic any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many +1/+1 counters on Spectral Adversary, then up to that many other target artifacts, creatures, and or enchantments phase out. That means they like disappear from the board and they're gonna come back next turn. Don't worry. But, well, they should be worried because if their creatures are gone, then there's nothing to block. And if there's nothing to block, you're going to attack in for the damage. And not to mention, I mean, this is like sort of a way of temporarily or just dealing with, what's it called? Ensnaring Bridge, if they have to. Why would Spirits have a problem against Ensnaring Bridge anyway? That's a huge flavor fail. Massive flavor fail. Now, the beautiful part about this card is that you can use it to, you can use it with Vial. Like, it's not if you cast this card, it's when it enters the battlefield. So it can enter the battlefield via any way, you know, whether it be Collected Company, whether it be Ether Vial, and then if you have spare mana up, and especially if you're using Ether Vial, you're going to have the spare mana up, you just start phasing things out and, you know, get your game going. Rattle Chain's still better for what Spirits wants to achieve. Are you sure? I mean, Rattle Chains is a card. Make no mistake about it. It's a very different card, though. It's trying to protect you from removal. And by the way, sometimes that can be very awkward. You can't always force Rattle Chain's effect. You can force this effect, though. When you play Spectral Adversary, it doesn't matter what your opponent does, you can phase out their creatures. So that there is more power here in some sense. Now, will it make the deck? I don't know. Spirits has a lot of good cards right now. Like, they've got a lot of good stuff. And this is probably going to be competing with Shacklegeist, which has been proven to be good. Like, I mean, this is just a staple to the Spirits deck right now. Blue and 1 generic, and it is a repeatable way to deal with your opponent's creatures. And it doesn't take any mana. This one does require to soak up some of your mana. But this can deal with Ensnaring Bridge. Or Worship, if for some reason the opponent has something like that. I mean, in some sense, you can deal with you can hit I don't know, Heliod, for example. Heliod from Heliod Company. It's an enchantment, right? It's an enchantment, so you give yourself a turn to combo off before they comboed off. They had like Walking Ballista on the stack. Interesting addition. Neat spoiler from Innistrad Midnight Hunt. All right, welcome everyone to the morning show where we discuss all things Magic. Get your questions fired up. Let's have a great discussion this morning. And also, hey, we do Decklist review. So if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, hey, submit it to us, and both myself and the community would love to give you that feedback. That community is the coffee crew, so brew up those coffees. Let's brew up some magic this morning. Welcome to Coffee and MTG for September 7th, 2021. I am your host, Nikachu, the Merfolk Master. Good morning. Good morning, Trevor Just. Bayer. Good morning, Mareep. 6mm gold medals. Znish Shiel. Frederick, Kaya. Jacob. GP. Good morning, Chris Ross. Good morning, Chris. Pancho Hernandez. How many Spectral Adversary will you play on a Spirit list? I don't know. I don't see this as being a card I want to play more than 2 of. But, you know, I mean, I don't know what the numbers would settle at in the end. Make no mistake, if you can pump this up twice, that's a 4/3 creature. Let's not forget, like, Spirits, one problem with Spirits is that they're too dinky, they're too small, but this thing can get bigger. So in the face of even a Plague Engineer, actually Plague Engineer would kill this. I mean, because it has to enter the battlefield first, and then it gets its +1/+1 counters, so it needs to be a Lord on the battlefield. But if you can get this out before the Plague Engineer comes out, you got protection. You got some protection here. Yeah, I'm doing great. Good morning, Merch. Another day of lunch break at MTG. Wherever you are in this world, pending Your time zone? Yes, that could be the case. Good morning, incoming dad. Darth, Barth, Scott, Gustavo, good morning, Bruno, Direwolf, MTG, Cheese, Person. Good morning. And we've got our first super chat. So if you're on, so if you want to submit any questions, 3 question marks before the question, 3 question marks after the question, helps me find your questions amongst all the comments I'm getting on all my social media channels. But if you're on YouTube, you can donate with super chats, and your question gets pushed to the top of the feed. Chris Williams with the super chat is the Ozlith clunky in a vampire +1/+1 deck? Maybe not. Maybe not. Interesting idea. Putting the Ozlith, but you need a lot of counters. Like, I don't think, does vampires have that many counters? It doesn't double the counters, right? I think much more interesting, now that you make me think about it, is like a Golgari vampire deck using hardened scales. That might be much more interesting. But the yeah, so, because this is just if the creature dies, you get the counters here, and then you can put them on a creature later. Not clunky. Definitely not. I mean, it's 1 mana. Interesting idea. Definitely a very interesting idea. But now it makes me think about hardened scales in a vampire deck. You need a lot of creatures with counters on them to make it work, though. Otherwise, it's going to be pointless. And I would also say you probably need vampires that sack themselves so the counters move back and forth and you get the value. And there's got to be some value to the sacrificing, which I'm sure there is. You know, sacrifice a creature, draw cards, sacrifice a creature, blow up other creatures. Anyway, interesting idea. Never heard of that one before. Also very surprised I've never heard of that one before. I can see the Spirit being really good in as a sideboard option. That's possible as like a weird... But the thing is, I mean... We already have Spectral... Sorry, not Spectral. We have Skyclave Apparition to deal with permanents. Do we really need another one of these that uses our mana? Very often this is... If you don't have Vial, and you don't have a lot of mana, this is just going to be a 2/1 flash creature. Damn, the more I think about it, maybe... Well, we're going to have to see. We're going to have to see what the effect of phasing things out... Oh, by the way! And then put that many +1/+1 counters on Spectral Adversary, then up to that many other target artifacts, creatures, and or enchantments phase out. You could actually target your own creatures. Think about that. Your opponent plays Supreme Verdict. Spectral Adversary. Phase out all my creatures in play. Verdict goes off, nothing happens, goes to your turn, creatures phase back in, you got your creatures again. So actually could be used very defensively. Could make so anyway, that's an interesting line that we can take with this card. Ad nauseum spirits, probably for the phasing, maybe. Sounds ambitious. What about the sponsors? Oh my god, they're gonna kill me. Yeah, we have sponsors on this show. FusionGamingOnline.com. Deal of the week this week. What's the deal of the week? It's got to be new this week. 15% off all Forgotten Realms singles and sealed product. So Forgotten Realms, a set that just came out. If you want to get a big discount on any of your favorite cards that you want for Commander or Standard. Hey, Standard's got... someone's playing Standard out there. You can get 15% off at FusionGamingOnline.com. And of course, there's an additional coupon code get an additional 5% off in addition to the 15%. We use coupon code Nikachu at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. For everyone who's so creative in deck list review, all those decks, they're possible. They could be brought to life thanks to Mana Traders, because as you are building, you don't need to buy into any of these cards. You just rent them and see if your deck idea works out. For the creative people out there who are sick of the net decking, want to build something of their own, but you know how expensive creativity is in Magic the Gathering. Well, that price has just collapsed because you can borrow an unlimited number of cards from Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below, or save 15% off your first 2 months using coupon code Nikachu. Thank you very much, Mareep. My sponsors say thank you. Wait, is Spectral with mono blue control viable? Ooh, interesting. I mean, in theory, Merfolk could play this, because it didn't say it doesn't say anything about spirits. Technically, a lot of other decks could play this. Maybe well, oh, like what? I don't know if the mono blue control deck wants to use this, but another blue tribal deck could use this. Interesting. Does Merfolk want this card? It's not like we don't play spirits. We use Kira Great Glass Spinner, so don't you guys put away all that crap about, oh, it's not a Merfolk. It's not gonna be for a Merfolk deck. Come on. You can play anything that we want, so long as it has synergy with the deck. As a turn 2 play, it would be terrible, but as like to exile like a Death Shadow that has double strike on it, that'd be sick. And also just to protect creatures from removal, I think is great. Or you're gonna try to kill a creature, I'll just bring it into play and exile it. And of course, Rattle Chains, yeah, would do better, but Rattle Chains can't be used proactively on my opponent's creatures. Interesting. Spectral, your own creature, seems super janky. Nah, I think it's okay. You do what you gotta do. I mean, it's tough out there in that metagame. It's tough out there in Modern. You do what you gotta do. Ugly Hood Rat. Nikachu, what do you think of Turn the Earth, new card? Okay, let's take a look at Turn the Earth. I don't know what's worth looking at. So you just mention the cards, we go look them up. Okay, 1 green. I'm already on board. If it was like 3 green, I'd be like, why are you even recommending this thing? Instant, choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their libraries. You gain 2 life. Flashback or green. That's a pretty good card. That could see play. That definitely could see play. You gain 2 life. Oh, you don't gain 2 life for each card. That's too bad. That burn players would hate that. 1 green, gain 6 life. No, it's just gain 2 life. We'll gain 4 life actually. For 3 mana. So you could play this versus burn. As weird as this sounds. Now, why would you want to use one of these cards? Actually, hold on. Why do we want to use one of these cards? Choose up to 3 target cards in graveyards. The owners of those cards shuffle them into their library. How do we use this? At first, I thought this was like a surgical extraction. I mean, I guess it still can be a surgical extraction. If you're trying to target a graveyard creature like Grizzlebrand, put it into play, you then turn the earth in response and put it into the library instead. Oh, GP. Where's the Pauper ban? You're right. Where is that Pauper ban? They're probably still thinking it over. Seems like Endurance is just a better card. The difference is that you gain life off of this. You can gain 4 life. So that could be relevant. That could be relevant against Mono Red Prowess. Although honestly, Endurance is also pretty relevant. Endurance is also card disadvantage. Well, it's not really. You can get to 3 mana pretty easily. Anyway, I think this is a card. I don't know if it would see big play. This is like, it looks like one of those cards that would be a one-of in somebody's sideboard once in a while. It's not total trash, but, you know, I mean, it's not a groundbreaking removal, like a removal spell or anything like that. Torborg, good morning, Nikachu. Just found out a close friend of mine from college went to high school. You don't say. With one of the bigger MTG streamers on Twitch. You don't say. It's kind of funny how small of a world it is. Sometimes it is. Well, what is the big MTG streamer? The big MTG streamer. That's okay. That's neat. Yeah, where is this Pauper ban? What the hell? I didn't hear any announcement yesterday. Would you put Vile in Elementals? Not the current Elemental list, because they don't need it. They're just playing things for free. They're fucking cheaters. Those Elemental players, they're cheaters. You think they pay mana for this? You really think they pay mana for this? They ain't paying shit. They just evoke this thing into play. You don't need Vile for that. They're going to put their Vile to 5? They're going to put their Vile to 4 for Omnath? Those Elementals, they're cheaters! They're cheating on mana in more ways than one. They evoke and then they play, what's it called? Ephemerate. Just cheating on mana all over the place. Oh my god, it's criminal. Put them away for 20 years. This is highway robbery here. I mean, that's partially why this deck is doing so well. I mean, they're cheating on the, you know, the mana resource. Why don't I get why don't I get Force of Negation on a creature? Why am I not allowed to have that? Why am I not allowed to have that? Like, and it could be in the exact same means like this. It could have been a 2/2, just a 2/2 creature. I would have been fine with that. But I get nothing. And on top of that, you can't even have a counter war with Force of Negation. You just Force of Negate. It's a creature. Screw you. It's an ability. Your thing is countered. It's like a counter. It's like Dovin's veto on a counter spell. It would have been beautiful. So yeah, I would not put Vile. I wouldn't put Vile in the elemental decks of today. Dream Purple Floyd, not a Merfolk player, but a 2/1 Flash Flyer doesn't seem that bad. It's not bad. Hey, in terms of draft, that thing's like a super good card. Time to fire up Arena, brew up some French press, and hang out with Nikachu. That's right. Jam that arena game. Jam those arena games while this plays in the background. Anger? What do you mean? Like Anger the Gods? Need a little bit more info there on that question. Kai says Hertz Dragon Rage Channeler. Oh, I see. We are on the topic of Turn the Earth. It does hit Dragon Rage Channeler. It does hit Snapcat, and against the Dragon Rage Channeler decks, you might want the life. You might want, and 3 cards is a lot. I mean, that's backbreaking. Sorry, we're talking about Turn the Earth here. That's backbreaking for that Murktide Regent because they need enough cards in their graveyard to pull off the Delve. They don't pull off the Delve, they don't do nothing. Oh, I like this tune. All the Nintendo Wii music at the time was just gas. Yeah, Fantastic versus Delirium. That's funny. Against Ad Nauseam and Legacy, it ruins their line for elves. What? What metagame are we talking about here? Against Ad Nauseam and Legacy, it ruins their line for elves. Yeah, people talking about Doomsday, not Ad Nauseam. The Indomitable Cathar for a budget mono white humans list. Let's look. Looks like a new card. Okay, let's check this out. This could be sexy. It's cheap. It's 2 mana for a 3/1 creature. Human Scout lifelink. When Indomitable Cathar enters the battlefield, you can pay... Oh, so this is like the spirit version for white. You can pay white and a generic any number of times. When you pay that cost or more, put that many courage counters on Indomitable Cathar. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Oh, we saw this before. It's like Jorgana Warcaller. Is this it? Was it a Jorgana? Oh god. Jorgada? Jorg! Oh god. I don't got this, do I? Someone knows what I'm talking about. There, Joraga Warcaller. Damn it. When you're looking up these cards, you like know it 95%, but 95% sometimes isn't enough, especially if you misspell it 4 characters in. This card is old. Like, this is an old card with multi-kicker of the same thing. It's the same card, but this card barely sees play. It has barely seen any play in Elves. So I really doubt that this card is going to see any play. It's the same thing. Creatures in control get +1/+1 for each courage counter. It's in a human's deck, your mana is going to be really tight because they're just spewing out their hand over and over again. So I don't think this is going to see any play, to be honest. Just a bit too much. I just know the effect is too mana intensive for this type of deck. That's all. And they don't want it. They'll just rather play Thal's Lieutenant. Everyone gets a +1. Everyone gets a counter. You get a counter, you get a counter, and if I die, you still get a counter. That's how Thal's Lieutenant acts. And that's why they play Phantasmal Image. You get a counter, you get a counter, and then if if you so much as blow on me, Phantasmal Image dies, and you know everyone gets to keep the counters. Come on, MTG. I'm waiting to dump tons of pennies into Pauper. What's the ban? Yeah, we still have no ban announcement. They didn't say what date. They said next week. And given the fact that Wizards of the Coast probably doesn't play the format at all, they might not even have a clue what to do about it. Because there's two problems, right? There's the Storm problem, and then there's the Affinity problem. How to deal with both. Maybe they'll just ban all the artifact lands. Was there any other new card that got added to Pauper? Let's go take a smidge of a look at the Pauper. The Pauper metagame. Pauper down here. Affinity. No. Whoa. Whoa. Where's the Storm? Dimir Fairy's still up here. Not good. That's how everyone feels about the format. Oh my god, this just looks like a Legacy Storm deck. This is nuts. Corporate wants to find out what's the difference between these two decks. Or sorry, between these two pictures. It's the same picture. Jeez, this is a powerful format. What happened? And then you look at Dimir Fairies. It's I know it's got like Brainstorm and stuff, but it's underwhelming. I mean, you're playing Fairy Seer here, Augur of Bolus. This looks like Pauper. I see Pauper when I look at this deck. I'm surprised Storm is not higher up on the tier, given it just looks like looking at the raw brute force power of the format. It's good to be a Delver player right now in Pauper. The deck is extremely well positioned because it does have a good match against Storm. You can pay the mana after it's summoned, though, as opposed to... Yeah, when it enters the... when it enters the battle... How did these cards work? When it enters the battlefield, you may pay... Yeah, so you can wait for it to resolve. That's a really good point. You could cast it, wait for it to resolve, and then sink more mana into it. Bingo. This is ridiculous. MTG's Pauper list is wrong. Where's the basic land results? They're not gonna publish those. They're not even gonna. They're not gonna bother. They're gonna look at community's trolling us. We'll just not publish any of this garbage. Told you no one can deal with Pauper Storm. Then why is it only number 3 on the list? Looks like Affinity can race it pretty well. Hey, who will win? One. It's not even playing Ornithopter. Where's their evasion? They have no evasion. I guess Disciple of the Vault is their evasion. And it's playing the Atog. Look, this is like the classic. Can I even call this Affinity? This is more like an Atog deck than anything else. This Dispel, Galvanic Blast. So what's new? Okay, so I was curious. What's the new cards? Deadly Dispute. But I'm just curious if they got anything else from Murdering Horizons 2. And I don't... Oh, they did. They got the Sojourner's Companion, so that's a new card. Affinity for artifacts, and it has artifact cycling, so that's a new one. Yeah, but Ornithopter's a major player in Modern Merfolk. Well, if you ask my brother, we should get some deck tech by him. And are they... So there's 1, 2... 3, 4. They're not even using that many cards. There really isn't that many upgrades. These upgrades more or less came from maybe Commander? Chromatic Star? What are the new cards in this? This really isn't upgraded by much. It's been upgraded by like 4 more lands, artifact lands, and truth be told, they could probably play with anything. But I guess the red mana helps to cast the actual Atog. And they have I'm probably pronouncing this. Sojourner's Companion, which looks like a big giant froggy frog. Yeah, Atog is just old. I guess so, yeah, old school Ravager. Anyway, I don't know why this deck has completely overtaken the format, but it's above and beyond ahead everything else. According to this, which could be just BS. I can't trust these metagame numbers anymore. Like, we're gonna look at the results. Pauper challenge. Wow. Whoa! Holy moly! Holy moly! In one Pauper challenge, 7th, 10th, 14th, 15th, 17th, 18th, 20, 24. I'm almost counting from 10 to 20. That is insane. That is insane. And what to ban? What would you ban? Just all the artifact lands? Just do it modern style? That's a lot of affinity. Wow, Wizards just completely forgot about this format. I mean, it's not really in the... I mean, I didn't even know. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it got that bad. It got bad. It's really bad. Is it time for Wizards of the Coast to print Stifle into Modern? It was time years ago. There's like no reason to not have this card in Modern. GP, so far Midnight Hunt art is very creepy. Did you check Ghoulie Grizzly? I did not. Oh, it's Ghoul Grizzly. What am I spelling wrong? Unless it's not in the database. Okay, we have 4 cards here. Looking for a Grizzly. I'm looking for a Grizzly. First name Ghoul. Where's our Grizzly? All these ghouls are spooky. I can't find it. We have failed on naming this card. Unless it's not in the database yet. The Iron Warlock. Hey, Nikachu, what do you think of Sunset Celebration for Control? Okay, apparently these cards don't exist here. What is Sunset? I'm going to just use Google. There we go. Google can find the cards faster than anything else. Sunset Celebration, a white and generic. If an opponent has more life than you, you gain 4 life. If an opponent controls more creatures than you, create 2 +1/+1 white human creature tokens. If an opponent has more cards in hand than you, draw a card. It seems worse than, what's it called? The other card. It's 1 mana cheaper, but I don't think it's 1 mana of more value than Timely Reinforcements. I think it's just a worse version of Timely. It's a cheaper version of Timely Reinforcements. So this will be more timely than Timely Reinforcements, but you know, I don't know if that's necessarily better. Because I think Timely Reinforcements will actually be more timely because your opponent might not have anything to do on turn 1, but then they'll have something to do on turn 2 and then they'll attack you. I mean, of course, I guess you could crack a fetch and have a lower life total. But you get 2 of these, right? Hold on. You get all these? Oh, I guess you get all of these, don't you? Maybe this is better. It's not a choose one. Okay, I take it back. Maybe this actually is better. That drawing a card is a big deal. Yeah, you get all this stuff. Yeah, you get to trigger all the things. No, I misread this thing. And the drawing of the card actually is really, really relevant. It's really, really relevant. And probably you can like shock, fetch. Sorry, fetch, shock. You don't do it the other way around. I'm gonna crack my shock land for a fetch land. The drawing card part is huge, so this might be a strict upgrade to Timely Reinforcements. Yeah, wow, white card draw. Oh my god, broken! Ban it! What are they doing? Wizards of the Coast! I think it'll be okay. It's gonna be put in the decks that play blue anyway, and they draw a million cards anyhow, so no big deal. So actually, this actually looks like a great card. No, this is tier 0. Okay, maybe tier 0 is a little bit strong, but tier 1. It's and if the opponent has to wait for 3 mana, whatever. The opponent now has the option to play Prismatic Ending and also play Sunset Celebration on the same turn. You don't think it's a control card? BS. This is a control card. Of course they want this is a control card. What do you think Timely Reinforcements is? This was a control card. It was a big control card. And this is the same thing. Instead, but you for 1 mana less, you lose 2 creatures. You get 1/3. You get 2/3 of Timely Reinforcements in Sunset Celebration, but you get to draw a card, which in my opinion now makes this better value. It's just better. Strict upgrade. You heard it here. Great card. Instant upgrade. Sam P with the super chat. Thank you so much. Green gets all the good stuff. Usually they do. When are they going to power down green? When is blue going to get powered up? The problem is when they power up blue, it like just stomps everyone all at once. So you can't let blue get out of control. At the very least, I'd love to see Wizards print good blue 1-drops. There's good 1-drops for black, white, green, red, nothing for blue. It's like, we don't want to make another Delver of Secrets. That was a huge mistake that dominated millions of formats. No, never again. That was the last time we print a good blue 1-drop creature. It's over. Was it called Flesh Taker? When I say ghoul, you say grizzly. Yeah, where's this ghoul thing? Hold on, let's look up. Let's use Google again. Is it ghoul grizzly? Oh, ghoul. Yeah, there is ghoul grizzly. Okay, we got another one. How is this disgusting? I don't find it that bad. This is not that bad at all. So it's like a grizzly bear with giant paws or something. Don't exactly know what's going on here. Trample grizzly. Oh, it's not ghoul. It was grizzly ghoul. Maybe we could have found it here if we knew if it was grizzly ghoul. No, we didn't. Okay, moving on. Trample. Grizzly ghoul enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 counter on it for each creature that died this turn. Well, we're not here for the text. We're here for the art. I don't know. I didn't think it was that bad. I do think the art in this set is it's terrifyingly too realistic for me. At least you won't die before turn 3 against Blitz. Blitz can deal an obscene amount of damage, though. Well, I mean, maybe the blockers will help us. Let's see. By the way, if you're new to the show, remember 3 question marks before the question, 3 questions. That's how Trevor Just is cheating the system. He's putting the question marks everywhere. Why did they not name Sunset Celebration Sunset Command? You know what? Because a command would make you choose modes, and that you just got all the modes. They should have called it Sunset Reinforcements, though. Should have been the sequel to Timely Reinforcements. Maybe it's the prequel to Timely Reinforcements. It's going to be a bomb in EDH? Oh, that's possible. Everything's a bomb in EDH. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Do you get it for each opponent? Whoa, 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 whoa. No, it's just if an opponent. How about that if it was like, for every opponent that has less life than you, gain 4 life. For every opponent that has more creatures than you, you get 2/1/1 white human creature tokens. And for every opponent that has more cards in hand than you, you draw a card. That would have been sick. Anyway, that's not the case here. Not the case. So Mareep King says maybe ban Thoughtcast. Talking about the artifact deck, back to the affinity deck that, like, is dominating Pauper. I mean, this is just stupid. This is almost 20%. And you look at the field, it's like people are acting like there's no other deck in the metagame. So sad. So many affinity decks. Only one made top 8. Bwah, bwah, bwah. Banning artifact lands and duels will kill the deck. So be it. I've got no sympathy for affinity. F your deck. You can't give affinity players too much. When they have too much, you gotta take away. You gotta take away that opal. I don't care what it does. Moondoggy, what do you think Flesh Taker or Hungry for more in an Aristocrats token deck? Let's look at Flesh Taker. Is that a new one? This is a new one. It has the cow. This is a weird. Is this a human assassin? This is weird. So is this a human with the head of a cow on his head? That's a bit disgusting. So Flesh Taker. Aha, he took the flesh of another animal. Whenever you sacrifice another creature, you gain 1 life and scry 1. Okay, that's super powerful. Pay 1, sacrifice another creature. Flesh Taker gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Let's compare it to Cartel Aristocrats. I'll tell you, I don't like the paying mana part of that. That sacrifice another creature, Cartel just gets pro color until end of turn. The problem is when you have to pay mana, it's hard to just go off, if you know what I mean. Like, because you only have so much mana, so you can only sack, if you have 2 mana up, you can only sack 2 creatures, and then that's it. All being said, it's a pretty good card. It is a pretty good card. Scrying 1 and gaining life and being able to give this thing like +2/+2, I think it's serious business. Yeah, it's creepy art. Creepy stuff here. So what was the other question? What was the other creature? Or hungry for more. So Flesh Taker is like, I don't know. That's a card you have to play test. Hungry for more. By the way, the Flesh Taker, it has potential. It has potential, but I'm just saying you got to play test it. The whole paying mana to sacrifice outlet thing usually doesn't work out so well in an Aristocrats deck. Every Aristocrat deck had a sack outlet that did not require mana to go off, because you can't be constrained on mana for cards like that. Hungry for more. Create a 3/1 black and red vampire creature token with trample, lifelink, and haste. Sacrifice at the beginning of the next end step. Flashback. 3 mana. I don't think this is very interesting. You have to sacrifice it. This is more like a burn card, like an old-fashioned. There was a burn card like this. It was like some Hellspark Elemental or something like that. It looks the same. Or similar. Look, 2 mana for 3/1 trample, haste, and unearth for 2 mana. So you get like 2 shots out of it. Reprint Hull Breacher in Modern Horizons 2-3 to power up blue. Oh yeah! There we go. Let's just print the mistakes of other formats into another mistake format. Blue has Flying Man, stop whining. Regards, all white players. Blade Stitched Scab versus Tainted Adversary. What is better 2-drop for zombies? Blade Stitched. Ugh, this is a new card again. No, it's not. Well, it is new, but not... Oh, okay, whatever. 2 mana for 2/3. Other zombies you control get +1/+0. I think this is great. This is a good card. So it's a sort of a lord for 2 mana. It's a relatively beefy lord. Now, it doesn't give +1/+1 to all the creatures, but whatever. Your zombies, they don't block anyway, so who cares? And it's a 2/3 creature by itself. But let's look at Tainted Adversary now. And also, there's a lot of good blue cards in zombies. There's good blue zombies. As weird as that sounds. You wouldn't associate blue with zombie, but it is. And then we got Tainted Adversary. Death Touch. With Tainted Adversary enters the battlefield, you can pay a black and 2 generic any number of times. When you pay this cost, put that many counters, then create twice that many 2/2 black zombie creature tokens with decay. Creature with decay can't block. When it attacks, sacrifice. I don't really like it. I would say this card... I'm not going to say, like, you definitely need to have Lords in a zombie deck, because I think zombies can attack on a different angle that doesn't require Lords. But I would, if you compare these two, I think the Scab is better. I think the other card is, like, 2 mana intensive for what it does. Torborg, that 8 mana white artifact mythic, is obscenely hilariously bad. Have you seen it? People are going to be so bummed when they rip it. Art is cool, though. I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know. Hold on, let's look at the spoilers. You said it's an artifact. What do you say? 8 mana white artifact mythic? 8 mana? Oh, here it is. It's not a mythic. It's just a rare. Vengeful Extermination. Sorcery. Vengeful Extermination costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. Is this it? Or is it a different one? I would say that's not bad. Is there another 8 mana? They just hand out the 8 mana cards this set. Maybe that's it. Flesh Taker's art is kind of grim. Oh, it's disgusting. But you have multiple opponents, so you have more odds to get each effect online. Oh, yes, that's true. Okay. So when talking about the Sunset Celebration, there is... You might be able to pull off all 3 very easily, because for each opponent, you can it triggers each clause. What do you think about the only basic decks that won a Pauper tournament? Well, I mean, it was a protest, right? It wasn't real. It was just they did it out of protest. So there were, and it was one of like 7 all basic land decks in Pauper. They did it out of protest. Fix our format, you idiots! Look, we're crying on Twitter. What do we got to do? We got to sacrifice our ticks and our play points. So what's in an all land metagame? There are 2 strategies. You got to take you want to take the play so you don't deck yourself first, because your opponent, or you have to mulligan. If your opponent keeps 7 and you're on the draw, then what you want to do is you want to mulligan to 5, so you have more cards in your deck, so your opponent decks first. Now, alternatively, you could also start the game with about 68 cards in your deck, mulligan to 0, and then even if your opponent mulligans to 0, they'll have more cards in their deck than you do, and they will again deck themselves first. I've solved the metagame. Well, I mean, it becomes difficult. And now it becomes a game of like who starts the game with more cards in their deck. 500 versus 200, and so on. I'm going to counter your 500 card deck with my 600 card deck. I'm going to counter your 600 card deck with my 1,000 card deck. Just start to get stupid at one point. At that point, the price of basic lands might go up on Magic the Gathering Online. Like, it might go from 0.001 cent to, like, I don't know, a penny. Then it becomes a matter of not running out of time. Yeah, you gotta use a bot to script your actions of passing through the turn and discarding automatically. What a metagame. It goes deep. That's how deep Magic is, people. Even when you're playing with a 60 card all land deck, all basic lands. There's strategy to be had. There is strategy. The nuances of this game. Ban Ether Vial? No way! Stay away from my Ether Vial. Ban the artifact lands. What do you think about an Eggs deck in Modern? The problem with an Eggs deck is it is an awful archetype to exist in Modern. It's the same, it's very similar in vein to like a Storm deck, except Storm kills you automatically, whereas the Eggs deck, like the last Eggs-ish deck we had was KCI, and no one really liked that thing existing in the format. But that was the closest we had to an Eggs deck with, you know, artifact looping and so on. And it got banned! So, I mean, it's really hard. These stupid decks that depend on looping artifacts, it's hard to give them any room without them being broken. And they have so much to work with in Modern. They just need something that creates mana. Which in the past has been Krark-Clan Ironworks or Second Sunrise. What do you think about Rite of Harmony in a Thoracle deck in Modern, Rite of Harmony. This is... Oh, this is the draw card. Well, okay, well, this is what it comes down to. Beck and Call has been in the format for forever. So the blue half, the Simic half of Beck and Call says, whenever a creature enters the battlefield this turn, you may draw a card. It's 2 mana. This card, people have tried to break it. They failed. So the question is, can this card succeed in Selesnya colors where the Simic colors didn't? That's the question. And by default, I'm going to say no. They got to prove it. But by default, I'm going to say no. They can't. It's not going to do anything special. Flesh Taker plus zombies seems ridiculous. It's possible, but Flesh Taker's not a zombie itself, so there's going to be some anti-synergy there. Good Emrakul, Slaughter Priest of Mogus. What about this one? Whenever you sacrifice a permanent, Slaughter Priest of Mogus gets +2/+0 until end of turn. Sacrifice another creature or enchantment, Slaughter Priest of Mogus gains first strike until end of turn. So this is very similar to the other Slaughter card. Or sorry, it's very similar to the Flesh Taker. And with this card, doesn't see play, does it? Sees absolutely no play. Partially because the sacrifice thing has a cost. It costs mana! Similar to money, except it's worse. We can always pull more money out of our ass. You can't pull more mana out of your ass. Oh, do you hear that? It's Decklist review time. Alright, so if you got a 75 you'd like some feedback on, submit it to us by going into the description. There is a link to my Discord, and join my Discord, and when you go to my Discord, go to the channel Decklist Review and enter the command !review deck space, give the URL to your decklist, and you'll be eligible at random for Decklist Review. And to the 4 people on Twitter, unfortunately you probably have to go to like my Facebook fan page or Nikachu MTG streams, the YouTube channel, if you want to submit it, because Twitter doesn't let me post like a whole bunch of stuff on Twitter. Like, there's no big description. They just give me enough characters to maybe on Twitter I gotta like post the Decklist Review link in the thing, but you can enjoy and watch. All right, let's go look at some deck lists. People are frantically scrambling. I mean, you don't have to. You can submit if you submit them anytime during the week, it's fine. You can submit them at like 7 p.m. if you want to. They're all eligible until Friday. Shredeemer. Let's check it out, Shredeemer. You're the next contestant on Decklist Review. We got Orzhov mid-range. Mid-ranging it up. Okay, we got Giver of Runes, Tide Hollow Sculler, Tarash. How do you guys pronounce this? Do you pronounce it Tarok? Tarash? Or maybe some weirdos out there pronounce it Tarach. You let me know. Tarach like crotch? Tarash like Bosch? I don't know. I don't know what is an I can't think of an Osh at the moment. We got Grief, Solitude, Ephemerate, Inquisition of Kozilek, Malachor Rebirth, Thoughtseize, Undying Evil. Target creature gains Undying until end of turn. Whatever. I know this is like an extra version of Ephemerate. Humiliate. Target opponent reveals their hand. You may choose an online card from it. That player discards a card. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. Vanishing Verse. Yeah, exile target monocolor permanent. Kaya's Guile. And a bunch of lands, which are okay. But only 2 basics. It's a little weak to Blood Moon, in my opinion. And only 20 lands. Is that enough? Do you have any card draw? You probably should have 21 or 21 or 22 lands. Unless there's another land in here, I'm not. Oh, you have no. Sorry, you have 22. Okay, you have the Malachor Rebirth. Okay, good enough. I think you should probably have more Malakir Rebirths than Undying Evil. I really don't care for this Undying card. At least the Malakir Rebirth, it's a similar effect, but you get you have the option to have a land out of it. I say Tau Rock, but I'm Brazilian. Like Turok? They're right, that's right. Already pulling the pathways for extra basics? No, I like the pathway. I mean, I would pull other things. Like, how much white mana do you need in this deck anyway? You do need some. You need, I would say, I'm going to take a guess, you need about 14. 4, 5, 9, 13. You have more than enough. Okay, so you're way overboard. Remove some godless shrines and add some more plains. I would do that. And some swamps. Like, have some basics in here. I think you're a little overboard on the white mana sources. 2-path exile, prismatic ending, Dothy Voidwalker, Sanctifier on back, Athreos, God of Passage. I don't know about this one. What do you need this for? As long as your devotion to white and black is less than 7, Athreos isn't a creature. Whenever another creature you own dies, return it to your hand. Unless target opponent pays 3 life. Taking a delicious sip of my coffee here. Oh, you want to go to 26? That might be reasonable. So you get Tarash to, like, cast at 4 mana. Because it's like, this thing's useless at 2 mana, right? Miss Super Chat? Nikachu, I took first place. Where's the Super Chat? I didn't... Someone send a super chat. Missed. What? Really? Well, that sucks. Hold on. Unless they somehow submitted on Nikachu MTG streams. Nikachu, I took first place at a Modern 1K this weekend. Thanks for all the meta advice. I was playing 5-color humans. Tyler, you're welcome. Oh, I see. Tyler had a super chat. Why didn't it super chat me? Yeah, there was absolutely nothing. Oh, that sucks. All right, well, anyway, Tyler, thank you very much, Trevor Just, for being justice here. I wonder, did that... Okay, I'm just going to take a quick look-see-poo. Everyone else saw it. Everyone but me saw it. Oh, this one was, and it was earlier on. Nikachu, I took, yeah, Tyler Roberts. I took first place at a Modern 1K. Thank you very much. So sorry, Tyler Roberts. I don't know what happened. Or I thought I did acknowledge some super chat very early on. Well, I missed it. Okay, we got there. Thank you very much. And thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, for grief. Okay, so, first things first. I think we have too few creatures for an Ephemerate Undying Evil deck. I think we should ramp up the creatures, right? Or does this even make sense in this deck? This is a good card, I think, if you have Ephemerate, but it's pretty bad if you have Malakir Rebirth. Athreos can bounce the evoke creatures to hand if I need to side out Undying and Ephemerate. Okay. Add more creatures. I don't know if this is enough. Like, I'm not going to count Tarash as anything. When there's the battlefield, if it was kicked, like, so if you Undying, if this might not even be that good in the deck because you can't Ephemerate it. It's pointless. Like, if you kick it and then you Ephemerate it, it doesn't do anything. Need Stoneforge? That's a very good possibility. Like, it needs a good way to push damage. Like, this deck at the moment doesn't have any way to, like, really win the game. You know, well, what's it called? What's the, Dothy Voidwalker? The problem is this doesn't have any synergy in the deck either. But this is a card that can win the game. Because, I mean, if it's uncontested, it will just attack, and the opponent is dead. Yeah, I think Stoneforge would be good. And what you could do is you can play... Can't afford Stoneforge package right now. Then in that case, you can't afford Dothy Voidwalker either. How much money is this deck? Oh, come on. This is money. You can't afford the Stoneforge package? Damn it. Well, at least go up on Solitude, Grief, and Tidehouse. What is another ET? What's a good ETB creature we can use? Kai's not an ETB creature. By the way, also with the took first place this weekend. It's okay, Tyler Wobbs, thanks for all the meta advice. I was playing 5-color humans. You're welcome. I'm glad to be of some value to you. Ashen Rider is a bit expensive to cast. This deck wants a cheap creature to cast with an ETB that can get value. Yeah, can't afford Stoneforge Mystic at the base rate. I don't know where this is played though. Maybe it's got to be a cheap creature. Obsidian is very expensive. Maybe Shriekmaw. Shriekmaw is actually not a half bad suggestion. I mean, this is the classic evoke creature, right? And a 3/2 fear creature. I'm actually on board with this, and it costs nothing. I actually like this one a lot. That's gas. That's a great suggestion. And at 3 mana, you can blink this thing. Love it. Okay, we're gonna fill this deck with Shriekmaw. I'm not in love with Charming Prince. It's like, what I like about Shriekmaw is because of fear, it's gonna be relatively unblockable. Relatively. Okay, if backup plan Charming Prince if you really like it. But I find Charming Prince is a little too dirtily. What I like about Shriekmaw is there's dangerous creatures out there, people. There's dangerous creatures, and you're going to kill them. You're going to destroy them. You're not going to destroy the artifacts, but whatever. So what are you going to get rid of? Get rid of some of these cards. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. Okay, screw this card. Get rid of Humiliate. Get rid of Humiliate. Add the 4 Shriekmaw or 2 Shriekmaw and a bunch of these other cards. And that might be enough. That might be enough. Just for a deck that's playing with Ephemerate and all these Undying Evils and Malakir Rebirths, you have like no, like, how many cards? You have really 6 cards to take advantage of it. You really should be 4 Grief, 4 Solitude, then 4 Shriekmaw, or 4 Stoneforge Mystic for that matter. Thraben Inspector is not a bad idea. That's not terrible. Fiend Hunter might be expensive. I'm talking about mana cost. This is low. I mean, I would play Skyclave Apparition, but I think this is too much money. $7. Probably a little too much money. How about Dam instead of Vindicate? I don't know if you want to dam your creatures away. I mean, I know it's fine, like in a worst case scenario. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Vindicate is for Tron or something. Well, if you have Vindicate for Tron, if Vindicate is not even the card you want, if this is for Tron, it's a flexible card, but the Sinkhole is better. Oh, and the Vindicate you can pitch to Grief or Solitude. Not that I think that should be a big deal. Anyway, I like potentially Thraben Inspector, but you might have to bump something else. Tarash Dread Cantor is okay. Like, it's an okay card, but it doesn't have synergy with your deck. And I might bump it for some... Like, if you're going the Ephemerate route, you gotta make... Like, what's the point of putting 10 cards? 10 of these cards in your deck when it doesn't have any synergy with your deck. And Tidal Skull is really awkward, too. Like, it's good with Ephemerate, but it's not good with Undying Evil, because when Tidal Skull leaves the battlefield, the opponent's going to get the card, but hopefully Tidal Skull comes back to get the card back again. Okay, so Vindicate can hit Tron, also can hit other stuff. Although this is not the best Tron hate is that black Sinkhole. I can't remember what it is. But you know what? If you add a Grief, Solitude, and 4 Shriekmaw and get rid of this Humiliate, which is useless, really, has no business in this deck. You have Thoughtseize and Inquisition. That's good enough. That's more than good enough. You're fine. I think that would be a big boost to your deck. So thank you very much for submitting it. And really save up your money for the Stoneforge package. You get that Stoneforge Mystic in there. You're not broke. You know, it's a bit weird for someone to come to me with a 200 ticks, $500 deck and say they don't have money for the Stoneforge Mystic package. You sell something. You got money somewhere. You sell that other stuff for that Stoneforge Mystic package. All right, who won this thing? Very Serious Tintin. Okay. Shout out to Tintin and the little dog. Didn't they make a full-fledged movie out of that show? Budget Blue-White Control. All right, on a budget we are. Castle Ardenvale, Castle Ventress, Colonnade. What part of budget is this? This is all money. I'm like, Misty Rainforest? There's another person that's like, I don't have any money, but I've got $1,000 sitting right in front of me. Look, Card Kingdom quoting $899 to $929. Archmage's Charm, Cryptic Command. Maybe you're on a budget now after you've blown all your money on this thing. Archmage's Charm, Counterspell, Cryptic Command, Force Negation, 4-Path to Exile. Snapcaster Mage, Wall of Omens, Elspeth Sun's Champion, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria, Time Raveler, Prismatic Ending, Supreme Verdict, Shark Typhoon. Budget Boy Control, mainly with cards I own. Well, honestly, I mean, you compiled a really good deck. I mean, this... I'm not lying. Like, there's a lot of control decks that would just look like this. No difference. I guess you're just short on specific fetch lands? I mean, one thing you should do is sell this Misty Rainforest and get yourself a Flooded Strand so you can find your planes more often. For the moments that you're going to be up against Blood Moon decks. Same thing with Polluted Delta. Like, sell your Polluted Deltas, get the Flooded Strands. And I don't think they're more expensive. They might be. Hold on. Polluted Delta. Like, it doesn't matter what set it's from. Let's take Khans of Tarkir. Holy moly, $43. Khans of Tarkir. Whoever invested in those a long time ago, they cashed in big time. Flooded Strand. See, Polluted Delta is worth more than Flooded Strand. But this is so much more strategically important to your deck. Like, insanely important to your deck. 26 lands a bit much for control? No, it's okay. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. I was playing with Colonnade. It's okay. You could go down on lands, but I mean, I don't see any opts here or anything like that, so. And there's other... well, whatever. Yeah, buy cons really paid off. Yeah, I mean, like, the cards you want is just maybe more cards you already have. Although I have to say, Cryptic Command has gotten less and less popular. It's not a very popular card right now. Maybe his budget because he already has those cards. Yeah, so here's the thing. You can improve your deck by just selling cards you already have. Sell the Misty Rainforest, sell the Polluted Deltas, or exchange them for Flooded Strands. And you'll have extra money in your pocket, too. I believe Misty Rainforest... well, I don't know. It got reprinted. Let's see if it's, well, it's still up there, right? What's the cheapest? Oh, the cheapest version is $36. So it's equal to a Flooded Strand right now. Wow, that is sad as hell. So sad. But you gotta do what you gotta do. I mean, they are better. It's just better. Because a Flooded Strand can find your basic planes. And against a Blood Moon deck, you need that planes. Another thing is you probably want more... some more basic lands, I would think. Your island count might be fine, but your white... like, for example, if you're up against a Blood Moon deck, you can't play Supreme Verdict if you only have 1 planes in your deck. So you probably need an extra planes here. I don't know, ditch a pathway. The pathways don't even seem that necessary. But whatever, you can play with the pathways. How many basic lands exactly do the modern players play in their control decks? Okay, let's look at this. 25 lands, 4 islands, 1 plains. Really? Really? Why? Why would they do this? This is like... and it plays Supreme Verdict. Maybe in every matchup with Blood Moon, there's no point in having a second Plains because they side out the Supreme Verdict. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe that's the deal. But if you're... okay, hold on. Does everyone do this? This is Wafotapa. This is no schmuck doing this. This seems insane to me. Like, even... There's, like, mono-red prowess decks out there that have main deck Blood Moon and a million creatures. Wait, you don't want to blow them all up? Okay, well, let's see. Does McWinsauce have any sense? He's playing with 2 planes. Thank you, McWinsauce. Thank you. What else? Who are some very big notable players? Bill Sive. 1 planes. They're fucking greedy. This is greedy as hell. Well, I mean, it might be. He might have a deep reason for it. Hey, I mean, if you really need that blue mana for most of your cards, you need that double blue for counterspell. It might be more important than the second planes. Who else is a respectable control player in blue-white? I recognize some names, but I don't know if they're like control masters or anything like that. Okay, who just performed really well? Who got like a deep finish? I don't know all these people. Hold on. Triosk. Do you have a history? You do have a history, and actually you do very well. Okay, so, modern, preliminary. What are you doing? Oops. Now this is a 3-color deck, but he goes 2 planes, even in a 3-color deck. Well, this is barely 3-color. This is like 2 Crumble to Dust, a really light splash for your Rogren. This is basically... So this particular player goes 2 planes as well. Prismatic Ending needs more fetches and a Triumph, I think. Oh, that's a good suggestion. So you can just throw 1 random blue-white Triumph. Oh, I guess you need the Rogren Triumph, right? That would help. That's a good idea. I like that. Just throw a random Triumph. So this is something you can marginally upgrade your deck with. I mean, let's look at how much is a Triumph. It's like 12. It's 12 bucks. It's expensive, but you know what? It helps so much, and it cycles too. It helps so much, enabling your Prismatic Ending. Wafotapa is playing the mind game, getting people to copy his control list so he can play Blood Moon in the next big tournament and beat them. Or maybe Blood Moon decks, they don't even bring in, they like side out Blood Moon. Like, I don't know the strat here. I really don't know what the strat is here. But it would make sense to me that the deck wants more than 1 planes. It's 50-50 though. Like, Wafotapa, he's no schmuck. He's like really, he is an absolute stone cold control master. And he's back in business. He was a really big control player back in the day, and he's storming the events right now with control. But anyway, this I honestly have nothing for your main deck. There's so many control decks where they just played a big pile of control cards, and that was totally fine. And honestly, it still is. So I would just fix the mana base, make sure you get your flooded strands so you can find your planes and your islands. I mean, it doesn't look like much, but it's a huge strategic advantage. And also, maybe replace the Prismatic Vista with a Rogren Triome. And or you sell the Prismatic Vista. Actually, hold on, how many Prismatic Vistas do they play? None. No Prismatic Vista. Maybe that's what you sell to get something. Is that money? Because it would be good to get that Rogren Triumph. Yeah, this is money. So sell your Prismatic Vista. Maybe keep a Misty Rainforest or a Pluto Delta. Like some extra fetch lands that can find your Rogren Triumph. What about the 2 Colonnade? Colonnade's fine. Whatever. It's clunky today, but it's a card. He had a snow-covered... Oh! So there was a Plains, but it was snow-covered. Glacial Fortress. Oh, so there was one so there was one list with 1 plains, but the other one was snow covered. So what was the other one? So the other one was what was the other one? Bill's Ive? You're right. Yeah, snow-covered plains. Okay, so fuck Wafatapa. You get that second plains in there. I really don't care. If either he either is so good with the control deck that he doesn't need the second plains, or but you know what? Us mere mortals, we need the second plains. We're not there yet. That's what I'm just gonna say. We're not there. We need the second plains to maybe. Do you have it? Snow covered? No, you don't. So the whole your mana base is the only thing that needs to be fixed out of here. And I would say the cards that you could trim to fit the extra cards could be like the pathways. I don't think they're that necessary. Not really that necessary, to be honest. Yeah, the Bill's Ive. Strong online player. I think a lot of decks are playing Alpine Moon instead of Blood Moon right now, and that does nothing against Blade Control. Yeah, but there's still Blood Moon decks out there. You know, you say like, people are like, there's no Blood Moon out there, and then you play against a Blood Moon deck. You know, it's modern. You can play against anything. And it really sucks to lose to Blood Moon. It was so easy to play around it, right? We all just can play around it so easily. Zagoth Triumph and Dakin Shadow Slayer. Some spicy new mythics just went up on Magic Spoiler. Well, that sounds like a really good discussion for tomorrow. Well, we've got to save some topics for tomorrow, because that's going to be it for Coffee and MTG today. So if anyone want to check, I guess the replays are, wherever you're watching, the replays are there. The replay will be there on Twitter. The replay will be there on Facebook, so I don't need to advertise anything. If you're on Nikachu MTG streams, you know where the replays are. They've never been anywhere else. Numbers went back up today. Not to the original numbers of the Nikachu MTG days, but we had almost 200 people here today. People are going to move. People are going to realize, the show's not on Nikachu MTG anymore. It's in other places. But that is going to be it for today. If I didn't get to your comments, questions, or deck list, hey, we do this Monday to Friday, 9 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. If you'd love to support the channel, and if you want to support Coffee and MTG and you don't do so already, you could drop a sub at twitch.tv/NikachuMTG. You could become a patron at patreon.com/NikachuMTG, or you can hit the join button on YouTube if you're on YouTube. So thank you very much, everyone, for joining me. Enjoy the spoilers. We'll talk about it tomorrow. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of new stuff. Make sure you got the card you want to talk about ready with the correct name. That helps me a lot. So we don't have the correct name. It's really hard to find these damn things. And we will talk about it the very next day, because every day we talk about Magic. A great way to start your morning. So